Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from Breitbart. This is dated August 19th, and it says, report 12 Palestinians starving, kids in Gaza had other diseases. So, do another Israel-Gaza thing, and as I've said many times, if news comes out from the Gaza Health Ministry or anything from Palestinians or their supporters, they lie all the time about everything. The same rules you have for communists, which is exactly what I just said, should also be applied to Palestinians. You just need to take what they say, not even with a grain of salt. You just need to assume that they are lying. And that's because 99.9% of the time, if not, I would say even probably 100% of the time, they are lying. So what kind of a hoax do we have here? It says, 12 Palestinian children who were presented in the international media as starving due to Israel's war of self-defense against Hamas terrorists in Gaza were in fact suffering from other health conditions. This is kind of like that New York Times article where they had that kid on there who was like stick skinning. It turns out he had like cystic fibrosis or something like that, which is a genetic disease, and he wasn't actually starving because all you need to do to know that was like look at his mother who was in the picture with him. Or if they opened that picture up, there was his brother standing there who looked totally fine as well. And also, why is it Israel's responsibility to feed them? Why is it not, Hamas's responsibility? Anyway, it says that's the conclusion of an investigative report by Olivia Reingold and Tanya Lukyanova of the Free Press, who looked into the background behind the emaciated Palestinian children who featured, all at once, on front pages and home pages throughout the West, from the New York Times to the BBC, who have just absolutely, if they hadn't already, but in terms of this conflict, they've absolutely annihilated any credibility they've had. So, just letting you know what that they're not going to be exactly truth tellers here. It says they found that the viral photos lacked important context. The subjects have cystic fibrosis, rickets, or other serious ailments. It says Breitbart News noted, one of the more famous photographs from the Times is the one I was talking about before, turned out to be a boy who had a muscular disorder. The Times updated its reporting, but not before the photo had a major impact. And of course, that's kind of the point, too. And keep in mind that they don't care. They're going to keep doing crap like this, and, well, again, they don't care. Does Israel challenge the Times to give similar placement to photos of Israeli hostages suffering actual starvation, so the Times declined to do so? And yeah, we have that picture. I'm not going to show it on here. But yeah, you can find that actual picture of the... I wonder if it actually... Here, I'm just going to scroll down. No, it's not on here. Okay. I was going to say... if it is, then I would show it to you. So it says the Free Press reported here. It says an investigation by the Free Press reveals that at least a dozen other viral images of starvation in Gaza also lacked important context. The subjects of those photos have significant health problems. Those appeared all over social media, and the reports of leading international aid organizations and on some of the most prestigious news outlets in the United States, including CNN, NPR, and The Times, without disclosing the complicated medical histories that helped explain their stark appearances. It's not that there isn't hunger in Gaza. There is. The World Health Organization reported 63 deaths from malnutrition last month alone, including 25 children. Some of them might have been sick or worse, even if there was no war. In 2022, about 50 Gazans under the age of 20 died from malnutrition, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health. Keep in mind, 2022, there was no war going on, so it's slightly higher than that. And again, it's come from the Palestinian Ministry of Health, which, not exactly to be trusted. Says Yene Spitzer, an economist at Hebrew University of Jerusalem, who has been tracking food prices in Gaza during the past few months, said hunger in Gaza is largely declining since Israel resumed aid deliveries in late May after its nearly 80-day blockade. In mid-July, prices for basic necessities like flour skyrocketed by 4,000%, according to his review of data from the Gaza Chamber of Commerce and the World Food Program. This is separately, Avi Meyer of the New Jerusalem Journal noted another major media scandal, the fact that many journalists killed in Gaza, to a chorus of global condemnation, not commendation, that would be the opposite, were in fact doing double duty as terrorists. As Meyer wrote, that throughout this war, though, numerous individuals identified as journalists in Gaza have not only failed to intervene when harm was imminent, they have actively participated in inciting, perpetrating, amplifying, and celebrating that harm. Says journalists certainly deserve protection, and Israel's approach to the international media throughout this war, including its ill-considered and continuously detrimental decision not to permit foreign journalists to enter Gaza freely, has been imperfect at best. And it's probably saying that because they'd get killed if they go in there, if they weren't like Hamas. It says, but by accepting the outlandish notion that terrorists who exploit journalistic cover to engage in hostilities deserve the same protections as actual journalists, these groups betray both their profession and the very individuals they are meant to represent, endangering them and making a mockery of their work. Rather than dismissing or ridiculing honest critiques by media watchdogs, these groups would do well to take evidence of wrongdoing seriously and consider whether the individuals in question are indeed deserving of protection or of the title journalist at all. And yeah, they tend to be people who are terrorists first, wearing a press outfit, so they're journalists on the side. It's not like these people are journalists and just happen to be moonlighting as terrorists. It's definitely the other way around. Like, these are actual Hamas members, so they are terrorists first, and frankly, they deserve what they get. So it says, final thing here, it says, few Western media outlets inform their audience to the extent of which photographs, videos, and reports from Gaza are all reliant on approval from Hamas, there it is, or on the work of actual terrorists producing propaganda, which is just what they want. And so that is what I wanted to get out there. So quick video, just wanted to put it out there and say that, it comes from the Gaza Health Ministry. It's probably BS. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.